is Kat. So, like I've been saying, I moved into a new house and I have a new scrap room, and it is half of my living room. Here's my front windows, and there's the couch. Well, more than half, but that's like a third of the living room. And the rest is all my scrap room. And then like our TV and stuff is over here. But I thought that I would go ahead and do a scrap room tour for you today. So this may be a bit of a long video, but I will go through it as fast as I can. So let's start over here on this wall. I have a 2x4 Expedite, and the bottom down here has chipboard. This one right here I think is empty. This is, yeah, that one's empty. This is some more chipboard. This is cheap cardstock that's 12x12, and this is cheap cardstock that's 8.5x11. And then this basket has liquid adhesives in it. This basket has all my other adhesives in it. This basket is my trim, so any kind of trim goes in there. And then this little thing right here is called a fridge bin, or fridge bins, something like that. Jennifer McGuire uses it to store her stamps and dies in, I think, and I use it for all of my mists. So I just made these print and cut labels on my Cameo, and that's what I use to label everything. Okay. And then up top here are wipies, which I don't have just for my scrap room, but also because of this girl right here who likes to slobber on everybody. And then I have a layout that someone made me in a swap once, and my button gumball machine, and just a couple pictures. And then there's the television. And then there's my other Expedite. So this one has my good 12x12 cardstock in it by color. And this one is all like specialty paper. And these are some paper pads from way back when. And then down there, that 31 bag is full of stuff that I have to send to customers. Up here is my Dream Cuts right there, and my typewriter. And then over here, those are my babies when they were little. And they are now gonna be 17 next month and 22 in August, believe it or not. That's how old I am. So on this little container here, or this little rolling cart, I got from Walmart.com, and this is my thicker holder. So each drawer has different thickers, and I label them by and store them by color. Hello, baby. Can you move? Thank you. So each one of these drawers has thickers in them. Like these are my white, green, and blue. These are do-it-yourself thickers, yellow, orange, pink, and red. And then these bottom ones are black and brown and gold. I don't have as many in that one. Is that you? Oh, excuse me if you heard my dog burp. She's nasty. So over here is my little paint holder. I got this little spinny thing for $1.99 at Goodwill. And it holds all my paints. And then on the side of my Expedite, right here is a little hook made by Command, and I hang my Cameo mats on there. Okay, so now I'm going to turn around slowly, trying to be as smooth as possible. I buy her a dog bed, and that's where she lays. Isn't that like typical? So over here is a little paper holder that I've had for years. I had it for one of my old businesses way back when. And I store my good cardstock in there. So that is like Basil Card Shop, Paper Tray ink, Stampin' Up, you know, whatever. It's that kind of cardstock in there. And then this little folding table is where I keep my Cameo. And I think I've got some lights up here, my umbrella lights. I don't have my bulb for that one burned out, but I just got these the other day for my videos, and they work really, really well. Really good lighting. So let's go over here by the fireplace. So on the fireplace mantle, I have my buttons, and that's my grandfather's clock that he gave me. Just some decorations. And then this holds all of my paper collections, and I have them separated. Like, these are good for any kind of layout, and then these three are separated too. This one is for, let's see, that's for boys right there. This one is for anybody, and then that one back there is for girls. And that's my fireplace that doesn't, I don't use it, I just use it for storage. And then let me back up a little bit. And this is the canvas, my very first canvas, and I just made it last week. And I made some mistakes with it. The spacing right there is a little messed up, but it was my first try, so, you know. And then in this window I have my little dream thing. Now these cubes have Sizzix dies in them, and I'll show you. These are these are all the big dies. And then over here, under my Clip It Up, and my Clip It Up just has all my embellishments that don't go in kits or collections, and I just hang them up there. And then those are like little green dies and blue dies. Those are the yellow dies, and then there's some more bigger ones down there on the bottom. So now we're back over here by my desk, and I guess I'll start with my desk. I have lots of lights in here because the only light in this room besides these three windows is the ceiling fan, and it's really dim and it just gives off no light whatsoever. Excuse me. So this is my desktop, and I have my Copic markers right there, and I got that holder. Here, I'm going to sit down while I do this. A lot of people ask me where I got the holder. I ordered it directly from Copic, and it's great because it holds a whole lot of them. And I can put them, you know, by number, so I really like that. This little plastic thing, or acrylic thing, I got at Goodwill, and I just keep stuff that I'm working on right now in there, or whatever I just don't feel like putting away. I just kind of put it there. There's my paper trimmer. This is my Scraproom, which broke because I kept hitting it with my chair, so the little garbage bag that's supposed to hang here broke off, so now I just use it as a cup holder. And down here, underneath, I keep my Stampin' Up! Paper pad, an extra cutting mat, because sometimes I have friends come over, and my craft mat is down there. And then in this little drawer, the top drawer are the adhesives that I use all the time. Those are my favorite adhesives. These are my acrylic blocks. And I don't use those very often because I almost always use this, which is my Fisker stamp press. But sometimes, you know, I'll need a special block. This has like business stuff in it. This is my twine drawer, where I keep all my twine. And then this has clear envelopes for packing my cat scrappiness felties and stuff in. Sorry, I was closing all the drawers with my foot. So then down here under my desk is a box that I got a kit in about a year ago, and I used that as my spray box. And then I have this rolling cart where I keep I keep cardstock basically. These are all like my 12 by 12 sticker sheets and stuff. I keep those all in here. And then I have these listed by color, and this is going to sound really silly, but I have them by color and then by company. So if I have pattern paper that is like this, or, you know, like this, the plain cardstock goes over here, and then if it has a pattern, it goes in here. So I store all this by color. And then when you get to here, I store it. This is all my wood grain paper. This is all my craft pattern paper, chevron, and then it goes to company. So when I have other papers and I don't know, you know, like they're, I don't know, multicolored or whatever, they have patterns, I store that by the manufacturer because I know what they look like basically, and sooner or later, you know, when I'm looking for a specific type of paper, I know which company's folder to go to. So that's where I keep my other pattern paper. And then on my desk again, I'm kind of going up and down, sorry about that. This is my craft spinner thingy. It's actually a Pampered Chef utensil holder, I think, and I got that at Goodwill. And I got that years ago, so I've had that forever. And there's one of my ATG guns, and that's my scale that I mail packages on. And I keep my pens in here, and then other pens in there. These are like specialty pens for scrapbooking and stuff. These are my washi tapes, and these are called, oh, what are they called? Let's see, Spice Stack. And they just come out like this, and if you pull it out far enough, it will actually hang down like that. So you can see what all you have. And then it just slides right back in. Put that back in there. And then I have, this is my junk drawer. It has like my scoreboard and note papers and sticky notes, chapstick, stuff like that. That's my iPhone charger and speaker thingy, and my distress tools and a stapler. This is the, what is this called? I'll just show it to you. It's the thing that I put my camera on to make videos, and it's kind of jimmy rigged. The camera, or the clamp weighed too much, so I put 2 punches that I don't use that are kind of heavy in a bag, and I hook them up here on this hook, and that makes it steady so that my clamp, this is where my camcorder is usually. And the other thing is, this is a Manfrotto super clamp. The other thing, when it's hooked directly onto here, it just slides down around. So I put ribbon on it, and then I clamped it to the ribbon, and now it holds perfectly. So when I'm filming a video, I connect it here and it just goes straight down. So that's how I set up my camera. And then these are all my plugs. I don't really have a way to do plugs because there's no outlets in the middle of the room, and I'm having a really hard time with my plugs, so that's just really ugly and sitting there right now. And then under here is my trash can. And then there's another plug thing down there that I just got the other day at Goodwill. Okay, so then we'll scroll over this way. You'll notice I have this plastic stuff on the floor. It's because I'm renting this house and it has hardwood floors, and they're the original floors. And I didn't want my rolly chair to ruin the floor. So I bought these not rolls, but you buy it by the foot at like Home Depot or Lowe's. And then I got clear foam tape, also from one of those stores, and then taped it down so it doesn't move. And that's how I protect the floor, and I put 2 rows of them on the floor there. So then over here is my printer table and my other window. Up there is another umbrella light that is not working right now. So here's my regular printer, and then on top is my little selfie photo printer. Over here is some photo equipment. It's a Manfrotto arm and stuff that I have for sale. This is a close to my heart large organizer, and I store my 6x6 paper pads in there. And I'll show you how many fit in case you're interested. So I've got, like, and it's not completely full. I could probably fit some more in there, see? I gave a whole bunch of them to Megan. Hi, Megan. And she told me to stop sending them to her because she's got too many now. And then back here are packages waiting to be sent, and my thread, let me see, my thread thing, and just sewing stuff. I used to have my sewing machine right here, but it wasn't convenient to have it here, so I moved it into the dining room. So when I want to sew, I just go in the dining room. And this is a little picture that I made using a free printable from the internet. I found it on Pinterest. And I have a link to the person who made it on my blog if you're interested. And then scrolling down here, more packages waiting to be sent. And this is one of these rolly carts from Michael's. So in this, let me pull it out a little bit. So I have an extra paper trimmer for when friends come over to scrapbook over here. And oh, I forgot to show you that on my desk. There's another cutting mat over there. And when friends come over, I clear that off and they can sit across from me and scrapbook there too. And then if I have more friends than that, then I just bring the dining room table in here. Okay, so this top drawer are my large wood veneers. So anything, like these are frames, and those are just too big to fit in my little wood veneer holders. So I store those, and these are just little containers from the dollar store. These are my regular wood veneers, and I used to have them, these are extra sequins that won't fit in my sequin drawer, but I used to have these in a little container thing, but I like having them in a drawer better because I use them more. And these, I think these come from the dollar store too, but I had to get them on eBay. So I just put one of whatever's in it on the top and glue it on there so I can see. One thing I don't like about this rolly cart is the drawers do not come in and out smoothly. Okay, so here is my sequin drawer. And I kind of have a lot of sequins because I've been collecting them over the years. I have like Looney Tunes sequins and Tasmanian Devil and I don't know, you name it and I've got it. What are these? Little zoo animals. I don't know. So this is how I store my sequins and these things, and I have 4 of these, and I copied this idea from Jennifer McGuire, and each one of these just pops out. Let me do it from the right end. Let me turn it around. So you just kind of put your finger in the bottom, and you can pop it out and open the one that you want, and then you get to your sequins really easily. So that was a great idea. Thank you, Jennifer McGuire, if you ever see this, which I doubt, but down here is bling and little frames that I get from Michaels. And I actually used one of those the other day when I made this, my little K. I don't know if you can see because of the sun, but there's a frame up there that I just put an old picture of me in. But I love those frames and I buy them all the time. And then down here in the very bottom are my holiday 6x6 paper pads. And then this little thing right here is not real organized right now. Since I moved, I haven't really had a chance to do it. The only drawer that's organized is this one, and it just has all my date stamps, my roller stamps in it. Okay, so now we'll go to the back of my craft room. We'll do the bottom first, and then I'll show you what's up here on the top, okay? Alright, so on my desk, this is a little tray that I got at Target, and when I get new stuff that I need to put away, I put it in here. This is just stuff that needs to be put away. These are my paper towels, and this I'll show you. This is how I store my embossing folders and my dies now. It's just a little basket that I got, I don't know, Michaels or Goodwill or something. And it's the perfect size for embossing folders, so I just put mine in here. And then after that, well, this big one doesn't fit, so I put it on the side. And this is a Sizzix or Stampin' Up! Letterpress thing. I've never used it. But anyway, what I do is I take a piece of black chipboard and I make a tab using my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch, and I separate them by category, and then all of my dies go on these metal sheets. And if you want to see a separate video showing how to do this, I will be happy to make one. But basically, I use magnetic sheets from Oriental Trading. There's an Abby hair on there. And I cut them up to fit these Avery L pockets, and then I put my dies in there, label them, and then I put them in here. So when I want to use my die cutting machine, which is right here, my Vagabond, I just reach over here and can grab any dies that I want, and then my embossing folders are right there. And I needed to do that because I never remember to use my embossing folders when I'm making cards. Okay. And then I have my little pair of scissors that I've had for years. This is like a CD rack or whatever, DVD rack from Goodwill again. And these are stamp sets that are too big to go in CD cases, so I keep them in these Stampin' Up! Cases, and I just stamp what's in there on each side and then store them inside. Did I mess up that number? I did. It goes this way. Sorry. And then these are my little blending tools that I don't have the wooden things for yet. And then this is just a book and some embellishments I don't know what to do with, so. So then this is a little free printable. I printed it on my selfie and then cut it out and put it on the wall. This is another free printable that I put in a Polaroid frame and just added some little embellishments and hung that on the wall. And then this is a picture of my dog Ginger and Rowdy, who Ginger passed away a couple years ago, and Rowdy is my dad's dog who visits me from time to time. Well, 3 days a week he stays with me. And then these are more printables that I printed on my selfie and hung on the wall. That one said, here, I'll zoom in for you. That one says Ready, Aim, and it's a glue gun. This one says, I believe it is pronounced artiste, which I thought was hilarious, especially since scrapbookers are always arguing about whether or not it's an art. And then these two, which are about glitter and sparkle. Self-explanatory. And then I have these little cassette holders that I also got from Goodwill, and these are all my Memento Luxe ink pads. These are all my Distress inks and a couple of my Stampin' Up that didn't fit in my Stampin' Up holder. And then I just have some stuff on the front, on the top of it, that I don't know what else to do with it. This is my Stampin' Up ink holder and my Wheat Thins, which I love. And then when you come down here, I have this first set of cubes. These are all stamps, and they are numbered like 1 through 41, and then you pull it out, and each one is numbered like this. And so when you pull one out, it's stamped on the front and on the, well, usually on the back if I have two in there. This one only has one. And then, wait a minute. Let me put the camera down for a second and grab one and I'll show you. This one that is typical. I just label it like the number of the CD and the name of the stamp set. And then I stamp the front and the back to show what's on the front and the back of the card that's in there. And when you open it, there is a laminated, it's like a laminated piece of cardstock that's kind of thick. And these are the stamps that go on the front, and these are the stamps that go on the back. And then they just sit in here. And that way you never have to worry about your stamps sticking, because over time acrylic stamps will stick to the plastic and the CD and the chemicals will mess it up. And this protects your stamps. And those little cards, the CD holders and the cards and stuff, are made by Crafter's Companion if you want to look into getting those. And I also have a blog post on my blog showing, you know, all about that. Here's another one of these cubes. These are all of my Sizzix plates and things like that. These are my my flat, like EK Success border punches. These are my Martha Stewart border punches. And these are my Fiskars border punches. And then down here is glitter. Let me see if I can get to it. It's all my glitter stuff. And then this very bottom one is doilies. Sorry, it's not a good camera angle. And then the next thing I have over here is my Alex drawer unit from IKEA. And I keep my stamping pad up here. I cut it in half because it was too big. So now, you know, I have two of them. This is a drawer that goes in that little junk drawer thing I showed you. And I keep my card making cardstock scraps in there. This says tools, but it's actually like tools and little embellishments that I don't have a place to put. It's got a little bit of everything in here, so just, you know, little clothespins and googly eyes and my stapler and that, and then there's some little inks in there, stuff like that. It's like another junk drawer, sort of. These are my first drawer of punches. This is my second drawer of punches. And then this drawer is ribbon. And this drawer is ribbon. And then this is another junk drawer. It's like paint stuff. Watercolors and brushes and glue sticks and things like that. Okay. So then we come over here. And this is like a drawer unit. Oh, let me plug you in. My battery's dying. So this little drawer unit has my wax paper. These are like my shiny, some extra envelopes for mailing stuff. And these are like my little embellishments that I order off eBay, like shiny things, you know. This has some cork in it, some watercolor paper, just some stuff. This is my Stencils and liquid pearls. This pulls out, and then these little things go in a plastic container, but I don't like them in there. I like them like this so that I can get to them easily. And these trays just hold the Stencils and liquid pearls. Down here are extended Sizzix plates, like the really long ones that don't fit in the other drawer. And this is glitter tape. This is my Epiphany drawer, so it's like the punches and all the little cap things, bubble caps. And then this is my circle cutter, which I barely ever use. And then when you scroll over here, or when you come over here, this one I think is empty. Nope, this is my embossing powder. I just haven't, I haven't labeled it yet. So I put my embossing powder in these little containers from the dollar store. And like another idea that I got from Jennifer McGuire is to use these little itty bitty spoons like this. And I bought a whole pack of them, like a couple hundred or something. And I just took the ones that I needed, and then the rest I sell to the girls on the Scrappy Resale Room. And then my Versamark, and this is my favorite to use when I'm embossing. This works really, really well. And sometimes Versamark, well, I have to re-ink mine, so it's not working real well right now. So down here is my distress stains. These are my embossing powders, and I put a dot on the bottom of each container that shows what it looks like. So like that. This is mixed media stuff. So my gesso and what is this? Sparkle texture, modeling paste, stuff like that all goes in that drawer. And then this bottom drawer, I have some 12 by 12 Basil Card Shop cardstock in here. And I usually, I don't really need this because I have that other thing over there in my exhibit. But until I replace it with another one of these or those, I'm just keeping this there for the placeholder, you know, to hold this one up basically. Okay, so we're almost done. We go up here to my shelf, and this is how I store my scraps. Each one of these has a color, and it fits 12 by 12, so anything that I cut up at all goes in there. And then when I go to need a piece of paper, I always check there first before I get a new piece. Let me see if my cord will reach up here. Oh, there. Okay, sorry. These are die cuts which are stored in these little containers by color. So all my turquoise little die cuts go in here. And that's how I separate them. So when I'm scrapping and I need something a certain color, I just pull these out. And that's what that is. These are my label stickers, and here, let me pull this down and show it to you. So it's just a basket that I got at like Michael's or something, or Goodwill. And it has all of my, like my photo corners, my little label stickers, all my stickers that don't go with a collection. So it starts out with label stickers, and then it goes to word stickers, border stickers, and then alphabet stickers. So there, alphabet stickers start there. So they got small ones, and then they get bigger and bigger and bigger, but they're not the thickers. They're just stickers that aren't thickers, and they don't go on my clip it up. So let me see if I can put this back. Oh, that's heavy. Okay. Then up here, oh, my cord won't go any further. Let me back up. Okay, these are my masks and stencils, and also my cameo mat that I'm using at the moment. But I just keep all my stencils in here. This is a kit that I made, and I'm working on using right now. This, which you can't see, hold on. This is a cassette holder that stands up, and I just laid it down flat, and I keep all of my cards in here. And I don't do Project Life, but I have some cards just for scrapbooking. And then if you look down here, that's an air freshener and my Xyron, and these have tools like my big tape roller thing and my ATG gun, and my air duster can go in there, baby wipes. And then this is a big folder that holds my flare and my bling. Maybe I'll show you the inside so you can see how I store it. Okay, so when you open it, first are my flare buttons, and they're stored in these little containers, and I put tape on them to make sure they don't fall out, but they're like floss holders supposed to be. And then my bling is stored in all these little pocket pages, so that works really well. And I'll put that back later. Up here are stamps. These are all of my foam, or not foam, rubber stamps. Let me zoom in and see if you can see. Can't really see titles. Oh, there you go. So like holidays, my greeting farms, character stamps, gorgeous girls, anything that's a rubber stamp goes in those binders. And if you want to see inside of those, let me know and I'll show you the binders. This little thing is full of kid stickers. That's for when I do my kids' pages, like SpongeBob and stuff. All those kid characters are in there. Oops. These are my long Sizzix dies, like borders. And this is an alphabet Sizzix that I kept. These are all my brads and eyelets. And if you want to see inside there, let me know and I'll do a separate video for that. And then there's my Big Shot. And that's just a little Coca-Cola container that has pictures and stuff in it that I need to scrapbook. So that is the back of my scrap room. And you've kind of seen it all now. I do have stuff in the other room. It's a disaster, but I'll show you real quick if my battery doesn't die. I have storage in my hallway. When you come down my stairs, like here's my stairs. When you come down, there's this built-in cabinet right here. And I keep like Xyron stuff up there. Oops, sorry kitty. I almost closed the door on your head. And then on this side are built-in drawers and another cabinet. And in this cabinet, I keep all of these that have like themes. That's one of my Christmas ones. My cards. This one's like baby stuff. Back there is like holiday stuff. And then each drawer, oh, my battery's gonna die. Each drawer has scrapbooking stuff in it. This is paper, photo paper, and printer paper and stuff. This is stuff. This one, and they're really big. These are all my paper flowers there, and then there's just like extra stuff in there. This one is like cords and wires. And then this one are pictures and things that I need to scrap. Those are the drawers. And then over here, oh, here we go, is my We Are Memory Keepers holder. And there's flowers. And then these are all like colored pearls and stuff. When you go in here, this is my inventory room for cat scrappiness. And it's a disaster because I haven't unpacked it all yet. But this is where I keep most of my inventory in there and on here. So yeah, this is supposed to be a sunroom. So I'm sorry to cut it short, but my battery's dying. So that is my scrap room. If you want to see pictures of anything or a video of anything in particular, just leave me a message and let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.